Hey everybody, Eric with Phone Scoop here. We're going to take a quick look at the Nokia E72 today. The E72, of course, is the latest version of the QWERTY-equipped E-series messaging devices from Nokia. And it takes a lot of its cues, of course, from the E71, which you can see here. Both phones look extremely similar in size, shape, and feel. And you can see they have about the same footprint when held in the hand, and are basically, it's pretty clear that the E72 is an evolution of the E71. But let's take a quick look at some of the differences of the hardware. First and foremost, the navigation cluster has changed a little bit. The buttons have been reconfigured and it has a different D-pad on it. We've got send and end keys, we've got two soft keys here, and keeping with E-series tradition, we have dedicated home, calendar, contacts, and email buttons. Pressing those will take you directly to any of those applications. And the keyboard itself, the buttons have a similar shape to the E71, but they do feel a little bit different. They're not as glossy, and they have a little bit more friction on them, and that's a good thing. It makes the keyboard a little bit easier to use. Your thumb is not slipping off the keys as you type. I find this keyboard to be very comfortable to type on. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's one of the better keyboards out there in the mobile landscape right now. Taking a tour around the rest of the phone, on the left side you'll see hatches covering the micro USB and micro SD card ports, so the hatches are there on the left. Nothing but the micro pin charge port here on the bottom. And on the right we've got our volume toggle and application key. One of the biggest changes that the E72 sees is the addition of a 3.5mm headset jack. The E71 had a 2.5mm, so that means that this device will work with most stereo headsets that come in with MP3 players and such. We have the power and lock key here, and on the back we have a 5-megapixel camera, which is also an upgrade. The E71 had a 3.2 megapixel camera, and this one has autofocus and flash. You can see the speakers there for the speakerphone, and the back plate is made out of metal and has a nice texture to it. In all, the E72 is a incremental update as far as the hardware is concerned, but these updates really count. The keyboard is better, the 3.5mm headset jack is nice, and it's a very attractive phone, no doubt. Has about just as much appeal as the E71 had, which was definitely a sexy phone. So let's take a quick look at the software running on the Nokia E72. The E72 runs Nokia's S60 3rd edition software, and you can see the dock up top here for accessing different applications and content. And of course it has the switcher, the software switcher that the E71 had, and this lets you set up two different profiles. One for, during the workday, and a separate one for your personal use. So let's say at work you have an Exchange email account, you've got a work calendar and work messaging client. Those could all be easily accessed in the work version of the home screen. And when you switch to personal in the evenings at 5 p.m., you could swap it for, your Google Chat client and your different personal services that you're using rather than the ones from work. So you can see we've got a lot of different preloaded things here on the home page for accessing information, your contacts, calendar, email, and such. Hitting the menu button, we'll see the pretty standard S60 menu system, and there's plenty of stuff on here. What's nice is that this is a very responsive user interface. It's got a little to no lag as far as the scrolling around the screens and jumping around to different applications is concerned. Speaking of applications, we'll open the native applications that are on here, and there's just a few. You can see the clock and games, GPS, and gosh, they even stuck The Sims on there, and Monopoly and a few other games. So that's nice to see. And the OV store, of course, is here. The control panel looks about the same. We've got lots of the same options for configuring the device. And one thing I forgot to mention about the D-pad of this phone is the center D-pad piece there is actually an optical trackpad. So without pushing the button, I can move around. You can see I'm not actually pressing the D-pad buttons. I'm just swiping my finger across the trackpad. I forgot to mention that earlier. Nice little addition to the E72, and you know, makes just a slight difference in the way you interact with the phone. So in all, we've got a very attractive handset running Nokia's powerful S60 3rd edition software, and it has 5-megapixel camera, has a GPS on there, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all the usual smartphone accoutrements, and of course a full QWERTY keyboard and some sexy styling to make it that much more appealing. So there it is, folks, the Nokia E72.